Yeah, we've thoughts.
Yeah, you.
Me?
No,
him. Drone set. Go on. Because we've covered this a little bit.
I don't think he's heard a word we've said. Is he muted?
I'm sorry. No, I'm here. I can hear you. I'm listening.
He's on his OnlyFans, isn't he? That's what he's fucking doing.
I went over to YouTube to read chat. I went over to YouTube to read chat, and both the audios were going, so I had to pause it. Yeah,
that's fine. Well, the lockdown protests. Tell us your thoughts on it, dude.
So, right now, basically, what's happening is it's like Groundhog Day. We're doing the same thing all over again that happened during the Tea Party under Obama. They're gonna basically in America, their only legitimate protest is a Democrat Party left-wing protest. The only legitimate election is one where the Democrats win it, and that's kind of what they're setting up in this country. And so this protest, right off the bat, they're doing all the same stuff they did with the Tea Party. They're calling it racist. They're saying, I've seen a lot of people in the media saying that they're breaking the law and all this kind of thing. And they're not breaking any laws. There's no laws that they're breaking. These guidelines that they have put in place are not laws. And they're very vague. They have no thresholds in which to break a law. Like there's no threshold at which they're like, oh, you've now broken the law. And, a lot of the demonization I see against them, I'll say right off the bat, they all should be wearing PPE. They should be wearing masks. They should be wearing gloves. They should be recognizing the distance. And if they recognize the 6 foot, their protest would look even bigger, because it would spread out even further. And I think that'd be...
they just did that in Israel. Yeah. And it was quite powerful.
Protest against Netanyahu, and they all stood. And it looked quite amazing, actually.
Right. Well, they should do all those things, and I hope they do. Whoever's organizing these things, that's a no-brainer to me. Like, why would you not be doing that? But I guess you can't force everybody to wear them, so you're going to always have people that don't. But other than that, like, the protests are peaceful. They're completely lawful. They're pro-Constitution. And ultimately, these are just people who want to get back to work because we're all running out of money.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
No, I totally agree with you.
We're seeing it start to come undone here because we have the same thing. We've got all this guidance, which is enforceable by the police with a fine. But now the police have started calling it legislation, which is a new phrase that I heard turn up on the news tonight. And the narrative has changed to we will beat COVID with the lockdown. And the government have very dangerously started piping that one out as well. But we're getting much the same thing where, we've got this very vague legislation and the police are going out breaking up picnics and shit like that. You're obviously not from the same family, which, okay. But they're also stopping people and saying, where are you going? What are you doing now?
Going into people's front gardens.
Yeah.
Telling them to get inside. It's like, I am literally in my garden right now. Like, and not only that, gardens are specified in what was passed. It's like, your household includes your garden. They were of all the failings of the legislation that was actually mentioned.
Yes.
It's insane, that we're.
So, but I've noticed the traffic the last few days is increasing.
Yeah, me too.
I think people are slowly coming to do you know what? I'm just going to start. We're going to make our own decisions, but business has to start opening. Because I've had this discussion with a few people. Well, if we come out of lockdown, the second wave, it's like, guys, it's not going to go anywhere. What are we going to do? Lock down for another 12 months till there's a vaccine? Is that what we're going to do? Because I won't make it. Nobody I know will make it.
No country can survive that. No.
And that will kill people. That will kill people very effectively. That might otherwise not have died from COVID-19.
Right.
So, what about mental health? The more this goes on, the worse that's going to be for a great many people.
Yeah. What about all these people that need surgeries, which they deem elective, which, might be life-saving? Our friend Robert Noor, who I think has been on here, his brother can't get the help. He has seizures and he can't get the surgery he needs right now because of this. And he's having these horrible seizures. Like, what happens to people like him? And so I feel like there's all these things people aren't taking into account. And it's really weird to me how this used to be about flattening the curve. But now it's like, it just, as we all kind of suspected, they're just coming up with new excuses to keep us. I mean, at some point, we all got to go back out in the world, and if we get COVID, we get COVID or whatever, you know.
Well, that's the thing. People are going to die. It's the one thing Boris Johnson said at the beginning, and it's the one straight thing he said. He said a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah.
And everyone went mental. There was a superb meme where he sat on a park bench and his girlfriend sat with him, and it looks like she's telling him off. And in the meme, it said, okay, Boris, you were going to tell them everything's going to be all right, that we'd survive, that we're going to look after them. And what do you say, Boris? And everybody's going to die. And that's what he came out and said, look, a lot of people are going to die. Bluntly.
It's the truth, though.
Nobody freaked out.
I mean,
apart from...
Shouldn't we get immunity? Or at least, because our society, what if we're always sheltering and we become this, like, weak society that can't even survive a cold? I mean, we're going to have to go out there. Most of us are going to get it, and we're going to be fine. I think a ton of us have probably already had it. You know, there's all this talk about a lot of people seem to have gotten something in December, right at Christmas, my family included, which we weren't all tested. My infant son was tested, and he did not have the flu, they said. But we all had fevers for like 2 weeks, 105 fevers for 2 weeks. It was horrible. Actually, not me. I had mild symptoms. So, you know, it could be that most of us have already had it. And so what's the point of all of this?
He's a celebrity.
It's
only
not
the celebrities have the mild symptoms,
right?
The more you know, that data out of LA at the moment, you know, put the death rate at like 0.1, didn't it? Because loads of people had it and didn't realize, and then you know, San Francisco, they found that there was a death early February because they're going back to old samples that they took and retesting them and going, oh, actually, yeah, you know, so and so died of COVID. We didn't even realize because it wasn't a thing that we even looked at that point in time. The infection rate, you know, where they thought that there was, well, they didn't think, but they had 5,000 confirmed cases, and now they've got 400,000 confirmed cases. So it is just fucking everywhere. I mean, we've locked down, but it's still spreading. We still get 5,000 new cases every day. You know, it's not. And it's because everyone.
But what does that really mean? You hear that and you're like, oh my God. But of those 5,000, how many of them are actually like hospitalized? Or, you know, not many. And probably all of those, if not all of them, recover.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just circling back to, because I'm sure we've all talked about all this stuff a million times, but just circling back to the.
But not with you. That makes it special. Please.
Right. But as far as the lockdown protesters go, one of the things that the media and their critics are using to attack them is saying that, oh, they're endangering people. They're endangering lives. But here's the thing. People can still go to the grocery store. And at least where I live, pretty much nobody's wearing masks or anything. You see a few people in their car wearing it. I don't know why they're wearing it in their car. But other than that, people are just going to the grocery store. You're telling me that that's less dangerous than a couple hundred people out in open air protesting? I don't think so. And so it just seems like the typical media thing of, unless it's advancing our agenda, we're going to demonize it. And they're even trying with the whole racist thing. This guy is going around to all the he showed up at the Bernie protest with a Nazi flag, right? And then he showed up, in which the media was like, oh, he's not associated with Bernie, he's just a troll. Well, he showed up to one of these anti-lockdown protests, and of course the media is like, oh, look, they're all Nazis. You know, it's that same thing. And
it doesn't help when a truck full of them turn up with their AR-15s, though, does it? It's like, what are you guys doing? You're just delegitimizing the whole thing. You know, I get it. You want to show everyone and all that, but really, is this helping? Is this helping? Because they don't give a fuck. You know, it's like, no, I'm allowed to. Yeah, but how much ammo are you giving the media right now? You know, it's like whether those medical professionals were medical professionals or not. If you're going to stand there fucking bellowing at them, you're just giving the media ammo. That's all.
Yeah.
I think though, on that side of politics in America, a lot of people just, that, you know, it's just it's all Trump feeding down. They don't give a fuck anymore because they know that they have to be on their absolute best behavior, and even then, they're still going to get written up as lunatics. You know, there was a load of Tea Partiers who just wanted small government, and then, but they were they're all just psycho fucking, you know, crazy people screaming and ranting. And it's like, I think some of them are just like, right, well, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going the full thing, because whether I give them ammo or not, I know what they're going to do. They're going to write us up as the aggressors, and they're going to write the opposition up. You know, Antifa can turn up in opposition, smash the fuck out of shit, hit people with bite locks, and they know that they're going to get a positive write-up.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, though, Graham, and say that those men in the back of that truck with the AR-15s did not think about it that deeply.
No.
You know what it reminds me of, Graham?
Yeah.
It reminds me of back. It's funny you say that, because back during the Tea Parties, there was a popular sign that people started using that said, just call me a racist because you'll say that no matter what I do, or something like that. Yeah. Or it says, it's just alluding to that, hey, I already know you're going to demonize me, so whatever.
Yeah. And I'm not saying necessarily that they've sat down and thought about it in those terms. It's just that's the culture that we have now. You know, it's just fuck you, man, fuck you. You know, like, and then they turn on the thing, and obviously they're going to have a certain lens where, like, Trump's done wrong during the, you know, look at these disgusting journalists, blah blah blah. They're all booing CNN and all that. So it's not that they're necessarily thinking about it in terms of like pawns on a chessboard and how to play the media. They just don't give a fuck anymore.
Well, speaking about the media, I'm sure Drone Tech, we've spoke about this a couple of times now, that the